Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt genuinely excited about learning something? Not because you had to pass a test. Not because your parents forced you, but because you wanted to? Because it was fun? Now imagine that feeling, completely disappearing from human civilization. Imagine a world where no teacher ever gets excited about teaching you. You never discuss ideas with friends after class. No one challenges your thinking. Learning is just you and a machine. Every single day. This is the world of the fun they had. A story written by Isaac Asimov that seems to predict our future. In this world, a girl named Margie has never experienced the joy of real learning. She doesn't know what she's missing, but then Tommy brings her an old book, and everything she thought was normal shatters. What does she discover? And more importantly, what will you realize about your own education after hearing this story? Let's dive in. Paragraph 1. Margie even wrote. Read it for the first time. Margie writes in her diary on 17 May 2157 that Tommy has found a real book. The book is very old with yellow, crinkly pages. In their time, children do not read paper books. They read telebooks on screens. Margie remembers her grandfather saying that long ago stories were printed on paper. Margie and Tommy find the book strange because the words stay still on the page, unlike their moving screen text. Important. This paragraph shows that the story is set in the future, where digital learning has replaced books. Paragraph 2. Gee, said Tommy. What's it about? School. Tommy says paper books are a waste, because once you read them, you throw them away. He thinks telebooks are better since one screen can store millions of books. Margie asks where he found the book. Tommy says he found it in the attic, and the book is about school. Important. Technology has completely replaced traditional reading. Paragraph 3. Margie was scornful. Sent for the county inspector. When Margie hears that the book is about school, she reacts with dislike. She says that she hates school and cannot understand why anyone would want to write about it. Margie already disliked school, but now she hates it even more. The reason is her mechanical teacher, which is a computer-like machine that teaches her at home. Recently, the mechanical teacher has been giving her many tests in geography. Margie has been performing worse and worse in these tests. Seeing her poor performance, Margie's mother becomes worried. She sadly shakes her head and decides to call the county inspector to check the mechanical teacher. Important. This paragraph shows that in the future, students study alone at home with mechanical teachers instead of human teachers. It also explains why Margie is unhappy with her school. Paragraph. He was a round little man. The Marquis, in no time. The county inspector arrives to check Margie's mechanical teacher. He is described as a round little man with a red face who carries a box full of tools, wires, and dials. He behaves kindly with Margie. First, he smiles and gives her an apple to make her feel comfortable. Then he begins to repair the mechanical teacher by opening it and checking its parts. Margie secretly hopes that the inspector will not be able to fix the machine because she dislikes studying with it. However, after about an hour, the inspector successfully repairs it. The mechanical teacher is described as large, black, and ugly, with a big screen where lessons appear and questions are asked. Margie dislikes one part of the machine the most, the homework slot. She has to insert her homework and test papers there. She writes them in punch code, a special code she learned when she was 6 years old. The machine then checks her answers and gives marks immediately. Important. This paragraph explains how futuristic schools function, where machines teach students and also check their homework automatically. Paragraph 5. The inspector had smiled. Right about school? After repairing the mechanical teacher, the county inspector smiles and pats Margie on the head. He tells Margie's mother that Margie is not at fault. He explains that the geography sector of the machine was set too fast, which made the lessons difficult for Margie, so he slows it down to the level of an average 10-year-old student. He also says that Margie's overall progress is satisfactory, meaning she is doing fine in general. However, Margie feels disappointed. She had hoped that the inspector would take the mechanical teacher away completely so that she would not have to study for some time. She remembers that once Tommy's mechanical teacher was taken away for almost a month because the history sector stopped working completely. Still thinking about the book, Margie asks Tommy again why anyone would write a book about school. Important. This paragraph shows that machines control the speed and difficulty of learning in the future. It also shows Margie's dislike for her mechanical school. Paragraph 6. Tommy looked at her, asked them questions. Tommy looks at Margie with a superior attitude and calls her stupid. He explains that the school described in the book is not like their school. According to him, it is the old type of school that existed hundreds of years ago. He proudly says the word centuries ago to show that it was a very long time in the past. Margie feels hurt by his words. She says she does not know what kind of schools existed so long ago. Then she reads the book over Tommy's shoulder and notices something surprising: those schools had a teacher. Important. This paragraph introduces the idea of traditional schools, where students had human teachers instead of machines. Paragraph 7. A man isn't smart enough if they were in the same age. Margie is surprised when Tommy says that the teacher in old schools was a man. She cannot understand how a human could be a teacher, because in her time, teaching is done by machines. Tommy explains that the human teacher used to tell students things, give them homework, and ask questions. Margie still doubts that a man could be smart enough. Tommy argues that his father knows almost as much as the mechanical teacher, which means humans can also be knowledgeable. Margie then says she would not like a strange man teaching her inside her house. Tommy laughs and explains that old schools were different. Teachers did not teach at students' homes. Instead, children went to a special school building, and all children of the same age studied together. Important. This paragraph shows the big difference between future schools and traditional schools. Paragraph 8. But my mother says a teacher. After school, Margie says that her mother believes teachers must adjust their teaching according to each child's mind. In her world, mechanical teachers are programmed to teach every student differently based on their ability. Tommy replies that schools in the past were not like that. Children were taught the same way in a classroom. Margie quickly says that she never said she disliked the book. In fact, she has become curious about those strange old schools and wants to read more about them. At that moment, Margie's mother calls her for school time. Margie asks Tommy if she can continue reading the book after school. Important. Margie begins to feel curious about the old school system, even though it seems strange to her. Paragraph 9. Maybe, he said nonchalantly. In the proper slot, Tommy casually says maybe and walks away whistling, carrying the old book under his arm. Margie then goes to her schoolroom, which is located next to her bedroom. In the future, children study alone at home instead of going to a school building. Her mechanical teacher is already turned on and waiting for her. It always starts at the same time every day, except on Saturday and Sunday, because her mother believes that regular study hours help children learn better. The screen lights up and shows the day's lesson. It says that the arithmetic lesson is about adding proper fractions and asks Margie to insert yesterday's homework into the slot. Paragraph 10. Margie did so with a sigh. Above the fun they had, Margie puts her homework into the slot with a sigh, showing that she is unhappy with her school. While the mechanical teacher starts teaching arithmetic, Margie's mind wanders to the old schools she read about in the book. She imagines how children in the past studied together in a school building. They played and laughed in the schoolyard, studied together in classrooms, and went home together after school. Because they learned the same lessons, they could help each other with homework and discuss their studies. Most importantly, their teachers were human beings, not machines. While the mechanical teacher continues explaining fractions on the screen, Margie keeps thinking about those old schools. She imagines that the children in the past must have really enjoyed school. That is why the story ends with the line that Margie was thinking about the fun they had. Important. At the end of the story, Margie begins to realize that traditional schools might have been more enjoyable than her mechanical school. So students, I hope you understood the story, the fun they had. In this story, we saw how education in the future becomes completely mechanical, while schools in the past had real teachers and classmates. Margie slowly realizes that the old schools were probably more fun and more social than her lonely mechanical classroom. If you liked this explanation and it helped you understand the chapter better, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dilly Teacher for more easy English explanations. See you in the next chapter!